Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the LEAD Center for today's webinar, Promoting Economic Advancement, Implement Financial Education Opportunities. My name is Elizabeth Jennings. I work for National Disability Institute, and I'm going to be your facilitator today. Today is Bobby Gray, a Supervisory Community Affairs Specialist with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and James Yagley, a Seniors Community Affairs Specialist also with FDIC. We'll have joining us Arcelio Aponte, the Director of Operations and Management with the Department of Economic and Housing Development in Newark, New Jersey, and Jen Wheat, the Managing Director of Special Projects for the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce, Disability Works in Chicago, Illinois. You know, the National Center on Leadership for the Employment and Economic Advancement of People with Disabilities, or as we call it, the LEAD Center, is a collaborative of disability, workforce, economic empowerment organizations led by the National Disability Institute with funding from the U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Disability Employment Policy. We're very to have joining us today Dr. Christopher Button with the Office of Disability Employment Policy to welcome you all.
Elizabeth?
Thank you, Chris, for joining us.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here on behalf of our Assistant Secretary, Kathy Martinez, and all of the ODEP staff. We are just thrilled to be partnering with LEAD and with the leadership that the staff are providing across multiple areas, but especially, I think, in this area, we are very excited about the potential of this area and the importance of this area for helping people springboard out of poverty, if you will, and to be able to really benefit and leverage the fact that they are able to be employed and to accrue assets and to therefore actually participate in their communities. So thank you, everyone, for participating in the webinar. I, for one, am really looking forward to it. And Elizabeth, I'm going to turn back over to you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Chris. We can't say enough about the good work we're able to do on behalf of the Department of Labor and the Office of Disability Employment Policy, and we're so pleased to be partners with you. I'm going to take a minute to ask my colleague, Nakia Matthews, to provide all of you with some housekeeping tips.
Good day, everyone. The audio for today's webinar is being broadcast through your computer. Make sure your speakers are turned on or your headphones are plugged in. You can control the audio broadcast via the audio broadcast panel, which you see the image of there. If you accidentally close this panel or if you find that the sound becomes too hard to understand, you can close the panel and reopen it from the top menu item by going to Communicate and Join Audio Broadcast. If you do not have sound capabilities on your computer or you prefer to listen by phone, you can dial the number you see here, 1-800-794-4750, and enter meeting code 666-085-568. You do not need to enter an attendee ID, and I will send that number through the chat window for everyone so they can get it at discretion. Real captioning is provided during this webinar for those who are deaf, hard of hearing, or for whom English is a second language. They can be found in the Media Viewer panel, which appears in the lower right corner of the webinar platform. If you want to make the Media Viewer panel larger, you can minimize some of the other panels like chat, Q&A, and participants. And conversely, if you want to make the Media Viewer panel smaller, you can minimize it by clicking the little triangle next to Media Viewer. There will be a question and answer section at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can send them to me, Nakia Matthews, or B. Taylor via the chat box, and we will direct them accordingly at the end of the webinar. If you're listening by phone and not logged into the webinar, you may also ask questions by emailing Brittany at btaylor@ndi-inc.org. Please, this webinar is being recorded, and the materials will be placed on the NDI website at the URL you see below. If you experience any technical difficulties during the webinar, please message me, Nakia Matthews, via the chat box, or you can send me an email at nmatthews@ndi-inc.org.
The LEAD Center is to advance sustainable individual and systems-level change that results in improved, competitive, integrated employment and economic self-sufficiency outcomes for individuals across the spectrum of disability. For you, this is not a new conversation linking employment with economic self-sufficiency, but for me in the field, this is a new concept. I'm hoping that today you will gain a better understanding of these two items linked together and how you can support efforts to improve the employment outcomes of individuals by improving their economic capabilities. That is a review of learning objectives. We'll take a few minutes to frame the issue, to look at some findings on economic insecurity, findings on financial behaviors, and on the benefits of financial education. We'll provide for you an overview of the Money Smart curriculum, which is one financial education opportunity. We're also going to go over 8 steps to implementing Money Smart in American Job Centers. We're going to speak to you about some replicable American Job Center models that will actually take you beyond providing Money Smart, but will give you a good understanding of what some other folks around the country are doing. And then we're going to have ample time to address any of the questions that you may have. Our outcomes include the expectation that you as a participant will have a context of the need for and the benefits of financial education, that you'll be able to connect to financial education curriculums and resources, that you'll be better equipped to implement financial education opportunities for American Job Center customers, and will understand the practical application from the perspective of peers. Just so we're all on the same page, the American Job Center name is a new name for what as or used to or may still be called in your area one-stops or workforce centers. Anytime you hear today American Job Center, we're talking about one-stops or workforce centers. But if you're on the line and you work for a community-based organization, anything we share with you today could also be done at your community-based organization. Let's take a few moments to frame the issue of economic insecurity. In 2011, Wider Opportunities for Women, which is a nonprofit organization that looks at economic stability, particularly of women across the age, that nearly half of all Americans lack economic security. That means that these individuals live above the federal poverty threshold, but they still do not have enough money to cover housing, food, health care, and other basic expenses. A researcher, Susan Parrish, found that the poorest 15% of households, which disproportionately include individuals with disabilities, have zero or negative net worth with few or no net assets. One of the challenges for individuals with disabilities, particularly those who rely on a public benefit, is understanding that they are not allowed to have assets above a certain level, generally the $2,000 SSI asset limit level. However, as many of you are finding through these webinars and through other resources, there are many assets that an individual is allowed to accumulate that will not count against their $2,000 asset limit. And if you're interested in learning more about those, I hope you'll join us on our next webinar, which we'll talk about at the end of today's session. Money management behavior, a 2012 Consumer Financial Literacy Survey for the National Foundation for Credit Counseling and the Net-Branded Prepaid Card Association, that 42% of Americans give themselves a grade of C, D, or F on personal finance. Let us know that psycho education isn't only for individuals with disabilities, and it certainly isn't only for individuals who are being described as not having any assets. Financial education is really an issue that touches most Americans and something that many of us would benefit from. 10% of the adults surveyed said they could benefit from the advice of a professional on everyday financial decisions. Only 7% of adults seeking management advice said they would go to friends and family first. 15% said they would contact their lender first. So when we look at the money management behavior of all Americans, we can see that there's a great need for financial education. Further, more than half of adults said they do not have a budget. 1/3 are not paying their bills on time. Almost 3% carry credit card debt from month to month. And almost 40% have zero savings other than retirement savings. So that means that 40% of adults surveyed do not have any emergency funds if there's an emergency in life, and they have any long-term savings to speak of, unless they have some retirement savings. Think about that aspect alone, having any savings, and you look at some of the folks that are served through workforce centers, you know that short-term emergencies can have a big impact on work. Individuals who have their car break down and they're not able to get that car fixed, that can cost them their job. So helping individuals to better understand their money and save for those short-term emergencies can have big impacts on their employability and whether or not they maintain employment. Financial education and employment, there's also some research that shows that individuals with financial stress report lower levels of career satisfaction. Financial stress decreases productivity and lends to increased absenteeism, and that high financial stress is linked to embezzlement and theft. The study also spoke about the fact that individuals who have high financial crisis tend to spend a lot of time on the job trying to deal with those crises. So rather than being focused on work, they have to divert their attention to try to handle some of the crisis that's going on in their life. So again, providing individuals with some free financial education services can significantly improve their capabilities at work. Understanding of personal finances can help an individual avoid common mistakes such as overusing credit and mismanaging debt. It can help an individual to decrease costs by tracking spending, budgeting, and paying bills on time, and it is critical to planning for short and long-term savings. Back to individuals with disabilities, one of the other great things about helping a person have increased financial education is to help them tap into some of the other benefits that they may be underutilizing, like Social Security work incentives. Sometimes once an individual starts tracking where their money is going, they're better able to identify where they have spent money on things that they could be deducting based upon Social Security's rules, or where they could be deducting based on IRS rules. What I think is really wonderful about financial education is it's really a no-risk opportunity. So the individuals you're serving are concerned about saving money and earning money because of public benefits, because of their Social Security benefits, or maybe because they don't know how their housing will change, the amount they pay for housing, or whatever concern that they have. The great thing about financial education is it's no risk. It's not going to provide any harm at all to the individual, and it's something that everybody needs. So it's going to be beneficial to all of your customers, not just customers with disabilities. There are many financial education resources available to you. Some of the ones we're highlighting for you are the Money Smart curriculum, which we're going to talk about today. There's also opportunities through the National Endowment for Financial Education, Special Industry Regulatory Authority, which is really referred to as FINRA, U.S. Financial Literacy and Education Commission, and a website called the Beehive. These are provided by either federal offices or nonprofits and provide a range of tools that you can review and see what would be best for the customers that you serve. And all of them are free. So provide a lot of opportunities for you to explore and determine what would be best for you. We're going to focus on Money Smart curriculum today because it is provided at no cost and it has no copyright, which Ms. Gray is going to speak in just a moment, share with you. That's a great benefit, as you may have some opportunities that you would like to highlight with your customers, or you may have some customers where you need to slightly modify the curriculum, and having no copyright really gives you the opportunity to do that. As I mentioned, we're going to focus on Money Smart today, and I'm proud to introduce you Ms. Bobby Gray with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC, who is here to share with you more about their Money Smart curriculum. Bobby, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, as Elizabeth mentioned, I'll be talking about our free Money Smart curriculum, and I also have joining me, as she mentioned earlier, my colleague James Yagley, who will talk about our Money Smart for Small Business curriculum. The primary mission of the FDIC, which was created in 1933 by Congress, was to promote public confidence in the U.S. financial system by ensuring deposits in banks. The maximum allowable amount by law is $250,000. Since the FDIC's creation in 1933, no depositor has lost any money in FDIC-insured deposits. Also, under promoting the safety and soundness, maintain sound banking practices through the FDIC's examination and policy development roles. The FDIC promotes compliance by financial institutions with consumer protection laws by performing bank examinations and handling consumer complaints. Under facilitating community development efforts, which is where I currently work in our community affairs branch, the FDIC, through a community affairs branch, participates in a variety of community outreach activities with community-based organizations and insured depository institutions to promote compliance with Community Reinvestment Act and assist institutions and others to work together to community banking needs. The Community Reinvestment Act was enacted by Congress in 1977 to encourage federally insured banks and thrifts to meet the credit needs of their entire community, including those low and moderate income residents. The FDIC also manages receivership. Our Division of Resolutions and Receivership precedents in the financial systems when there's a bank closing, making sure that depositors are paid quickly, effectively managing the failed banks, and providing superior customer service. So let's move on to the description of the Money Smart. So why does FDIC get involved and create Money Smart? To encourage millions of American families outside the financial mainstream to join the financial mainstream. Estimated 30 million people in the United States who are either unbanked or what we call underbanked. Those who are underbanked may have a deposit account but not taking full advantage of it. Individuals represent an emerging market, and there are business opportunities there for financial institutions. When these individuals don't have a bank account, this money that doesn't go back into their community. Individuals also tend to use a high variety of fringe services to conduct their financial affairs, such as using those cashing outlets, pay lenders, pawn shops, liquor stores, car lenders, and others. These companies cross-sell and even the products and services a bank could cross-sell. In short, the unbanked and underbanked individuals a huge market opportunity for banks, and by being banked, these individuals can better save and work toward their financial goals and dreams. Next, second reason that FDIC got involved with creating the Money Smart program was to help fight predatory lending. So predatory lending practices are those that use certain marketing tactics, practices, or loan terms, independently or when combined, deceive or exploit borrowers and put them in a worse financial position. For instance, a finance company that refinances a home mortgage loan a dozen times in as many months, each time charging more and more fees, will likely be considered to be engaging in predatory practices. The best to prevent consumers from becoming victims of predatory practices is helping them to become informed and helping them understand financial services so that they are able to make the best decisions for themselves. One of the reasons was to assist customers in shaping their financial future. What we mean by that is, again, previously mentioned that the cost of using non-traditional banking services can be very costly. Those without a bank account, routine transactions such as check cashing and bill paying may cost more. Secondly, we have unbanked consumers. It's hard for them to build a positive credit history. A reason is the safety, where people without a deposit account tend to carry cash and may keep money hidden in their homes. And a lot of times if I'm conducting a workshop, I will remind people that if you have a lump of cash that you may be saving at home, if the house catches on fire, you'll be able to get money back. Whereas if you have the money in a insured institution, then if the bank were to close or were to be robbed, then they would be able to get that money back. The ability to build wealth, savings, and home equity is a result of the process of moving a person into the financial mainstream, increasing stability, encouraging better consumer habits, and eventually increasing an individual's stake in the health and wealth of the community. And the last one is helping consumers navigate the complicated financial landscape. As we know, technology is changing constantly, and we have more and more consumers moving towards not just online banking, but mobile banking. And so making sure that they are aware of the scams that may be out there and how to keep their funding safe and knowing their rights as consumers. So certainly financial education is not the cure-all. It is a foundation to building wealth, as we can see that it can building the trust between a consumer and the financial institution, establishing that relationship with a bank or credit union. They can begin to save on their budgeting skills and saving for not just a rainy day fund, but begin to reach long-term goals that they're seeking. And perhaps it could be buying a home, going back to school, or starting a small business. Smart. As Elizabeth mentioned, Money Smart is free. Since 2001, when it was first created, there have been over 2.7 million consumers. Since inception, there were over 1,800 organizations that have been members of what we call our Money Smart Alliance. As you know, partnering is key in order for us to get this information out to the consumer. So we partner with a variety of organizations such as other agencies, community-based organizations, financial institutions, educators, state and local governments. So for us to be successful and reach the consumers, key. Money Smart also received a Service Medal of America award back in 2003, and this is given for public observance. The curriculum is constantly kept up to date, and it was updated in 2010 with the recent law and industry practices. It's included in Money Smart. You can see everything that you need to teach Money Smart there. You can download the curriculum through our website, irc.gov, or you are able to order a CD through our online ordering system. Everything you need to teach the curriculum is there, as Elizabeth mentioned. It can be taught as a standalone or together with be complementary to other curriculum that you may be using, and because it isn't copyrighted, you have the ability to adapt it for your audience needs. It's to teach, and even though originally when it was created for low and moderate income, those outside the financial mainstream, the Money Smart can be brought to scale. We have used it in a variety of classes. So these are 11 topics for the Money Smart for Adults instructor-led curriculum. The first module is titled Bank on It. It covers the basics of banking and how to build that positive relationship. In the module, there are exercises and activities around how to open a deposit account, what reasons and benefits of why one should open an account. It tells what a financial institution is, difference between the FDIC and NCUA, National Credit Union Administration, and so it may use bank through curriculum. It can also refer to a credit union. There are checklists as a person thinks about what's important to them when they want to open an account. What are some of the things that are necessary in order to open an account? And then the participants have a take-home guide that they can use in class. You can also make extra copies of some of the sheets for them to use when they're there with you, and they can go back and reference as they comparison shop for the best financial institution for them. It was titled Borrowing Basics, and it just talks about how credit works and have the consumer think about their credit readiness when applying for credit, what it is, how much it can cost. There are exercises around if you borrow, what is the total cost of a loan. Excuse me. This takes about 90 minutes to 120 minutes to teach. They each average about 90 minutes. You teach them in one setting, or you can break up if you're able to see the same clients more than once. There's a layering table in the front of each instructor guide, and you're able to pick out what topic you can cover, the amount of time that you have. The third module is Check It Out. When curriculum was updated in 2010, this particular module was broken up into two segments. The first segment talks about checking accounts, how to open them, how to use responsibly. The second part goes a little more into electronic banking, reconciling your statement. It was too long for one module, so it was broken up into two. Module 4 is one that we all feel is important, and that's money matters. Hopefully, many of us online are currently using a spending plan or a budget. So that's one of the questions I will throw out to one of my classes, is how many of us are currently on a budget? And so you always use it, sort of, kind of like me, or not at all. But then goes into the how to manage our money. So because it's so important for the consumer to know where the money is going, where it's coming in, and where it's going out. And in situations where they may have more expenses than income, there are tips on ways to save money and to decrease the spending. If we track what we're spending, how sometimes that one bag of chips that I like every day can add up over a month's time. So just getting people used to tracking where their money is going. My tip is pay yourself first. And, of course, this one is very important, and getting our consumers to understand why this is important. And even in times where people don't feel like they have a lot of money, just getting them in the mindset that it's important to give themselves something. Just a little bit will, over a period of time, can add up. Perhaps, as they begin to write that goal, it could be an emergency fund. And as Elizabeth talked about, it could be all of our financial situations are different. And so for someone, it could just be car repairs, or maybe there's a loss of income. If it's that $1 per day, at the end of 30 days, that's $30. So that can go into an account to savings towards just a minimal emergency savings. Safe. This one talks to consumer about their consumer rights. It explains many laws that protect them, and it's important to know how to protect their finances. And there's also a segment on identity theft. Module 7 is titled To Your Credit. It talks about how to read a credit report, building and repairing credit history. There are included in this one exercises around writing a letter to Credit Reporting Bureau. Exercises on what is and is not included on the credit report. Charge it right. This one talks about understanding credit cards, how to use them responsibly. Getting consumers to understand that a credit card, too, is a loan, and how important it is to comparison shop. And if they decide to get a credit card, think about what are they going to use it for and how to use it responsibly, and the difference between a credit card and a debit card. Module 9 is loan to own. This one goes into it from the standpoint of talking about different installment loans, such as car loans and home equity. Module 10, your own home, was all split in when it's up in 2010 into pre and post home buyer. Then this talks about the steps involved in buying a house. Then for those who are already in homes, how to maintain them. It starts with having the consumer think about, do I want to be a homeowner? Am I, ready? And there is a woman, a character by the name of Patricia, and so we follow Patricia, the case study from the beginning of her beginning to think about whether she's interested in becoming a homeowner, and and it follows her all the way through to whether or not she buys a house. 11 was created as the curriculum was being updated. What happens is when we up curriculum, we go back to practitioners and users of it. The fact that we received was that during this current financial environment, there were many people who had been saving money, but found themselves in a situation for the first time. They may have lost a job or someone in their household or a disability. For some reason, they were having a financial challenge, but they weren't sure where to begin to begin their financial recovery. So this module was created to address those needs, how to recover financially and rebuild your credit and finances after a financial setback. So instructor-led curriculum is our Money Smart for young adults. The first 6 topics are similar to the Smart, the Adult Money Smart, and the Money Smart for young adults is based upon the adult curriculum. However, it combines activities, lessons, and practice scenarios to help students better understand bank accounts, debit cards, credit cards, and how to manage their money. This particular course has been designed with the young audience specifically in mind, using activities and examples that are age appropriate and relevant. It's to give young people a basic understanding of situations they may encounter in their financial lives so that they're able to make good decisions when it comes to managing their money. So again, you have Bank on It, which talks about the basics of banking, get out, setting financial goals, again, preparing a spending plan, differentiating wants from needs, self first, borrowing basics, charge it right, paper and cars, talk about installment loans, and the Department of Education was instrumental in providing information and reviewing the segment on student loans. So again, as I mentioned, partnering is the key to for us. The module, A Roof Over Your Head, gives students information they may need to make informed choices, not about only home ownership, but even about renting their first apartment. It does go into the basics of home ownership, and so they're able to think about their readiness when it comes time for them to have space of their own. It may be as simple as living off campus when they're eligible. So Smart for Small Business is the newest member of our Money Smart family, and as I mentioned, I'm going to allow my colleague James to talk more about the Money Smart for small business, and I will it over to him now. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, and I'm glad to be joining you all this afternoon. So Money Smart for Small Business, as you can see from the slide here, it really follows the same pattern as the rest of the Money Smart family, and this is one of our newer products. It was launched last year, and it's still in its first year. And one of the things that FDIC discovered as we were training on Money Smart was that there were a lot of persons who are thinking about going into business, or they may be operating a business, and at the same time that we're providing them financial education, there was also a need for some education relied really to running that business. So that started the origins of Money Smart for Small Business. It's a curriculum that we work with SBA to develop, and it really is a curriculum designed for persons who have not gone to business school, they've not had access to training, they don't have a coach or a mentor. So it really is providing that Small Business 101 training. We've got a pretty good range of modules here. The first one talks about organization types. That explains the difference between sole proprietorship, for instance, or an LLC, and it explains all the differences. That explains financial management for your small business. We have one on tax planning and reporting, for instance, which is a critical one for persons who are putting their business together. And that one I like to highlight because it came out of a partnership with IRS, who really helped us make sure that we got the information right and put people on the right foot in terms of seeing their enterprise. So all modules, just like Money Smart in general, it's made to be accessible and very practical, provides a lot of information that people can use right away. And one of the things we really like about it is that it puts information at people's fingertips. Without this training, a lot of folks really have to hunt and search for information on all these different topics. So with Money Smart for Small Business, we're able to put it all together in one place. When a small business, just like our other products, is something where FDIC is happy to share with everyone. This is also a domain curriculum, so people can go ahead and take it. And we're working now to get the word out and working through partners, bank partners as well as nonprofit organizations, and to deliver this training in their community.
Okay. Thank you, James.
Do we have...
Okay. Thank you, James, again. And as we wrap up, the Money Smart is available in a couple of formats. You have your instructor-led, the Money Smart for Adults, Business, and Money Smart for Young Adults. And then we have our self-paced internet version, which includes the we call it the computer-based and our podcast version. Again, each instructor-led curriculum is structured identically. There are script guides for instructors. They're easy to follow cues, a script, interactive exercises. You just pick up the guide and have a word-to-word script until you absorb the information. There is a take-home guide for the students. As mentioned earlier, you can just make some extra copies for class time of the exercises, and they will also have some sheets in the workbook. There are sample spending plans and loan shopping, comparison shopping worksheets. Also, in each module, you'll find a glossary for the participants in the guide and where to find additional information. There are overheads available both in PowerPoint and PDF format. Again, you're able to adapt them to the needs of your audience, put in some of your own experience. And the modules take from, I said 90 minutes, maybe from an hour to 2 hours to teach, some of the longer ones. The instructor is available in 9 languages currently, and we have a version for visually impaired. We keep up to date. We also try to stay cutting edge. In the future, we should have instructor-led modules that's aimed towards teaching older adults and a Money Smart mobile app. So stay tuned for those. I'll talk a little bit more. Again, talked about the topics that the young adult curriculum covers. With implementation of the curriculum into schools, we've tried to reach out to schools and partner. It's been aligned with relevant state educational standards in the 50 states and the District of Columbia. Again, we keep it up to date. The law alignment files are broken out by state, and they appear as a separate file on the CD. Those educators are able to look up their particular state and see how they implement the curriculum, integrate the curriculum. This is how the menu looks when the CD is opened. And if you can look at the top of the menu and you see Guide to Presenting, each instructor-led module has this. There are promotional flyers. I'm sure many of you are will be able to make own, but in case you just need a little template, that's there. Where you see contact the FDIC, that's a list of our community affairs officers nationwide, and those will be some of your local partners. We will certainly be able to help you here, but on a local level, they will also be able to provide you information and perhaps the ability to partner. And where you see click to launch scenarios, this is a separate part of the CD where you can, where they have life scenarios. So after a student has gone through maybe setting financial goals, you can launch a scenario related to financial goals that gives real life scenarios, and the students are able to answer questions and see how well they do. So this is a way of also taking a temperature check of how well the student learned what you have been teaching. In each participant, there's also a pre and post test that you can use. You can use those as icebreakers if you decide not to use them in class, but it's a good way to see how well students have attained the knowledge that you've given them. And this is from our computer-based CI curriculum. This is how it looks when you launch it through our website. The CI was re-released last year to include the Money Smart for young adults on the computer as well. And so it's based a lot more on its game platform, but the adult covers the same 11 topics and the young adults 8. It takes about 30 to 60 minutes to complete a module. Just depends on the students. When they're done, they're able to print a certificate. And this has been helpful sometimes when people have had to go to a second chance checking class opportunity. They may have missed the in-person class, and so you're able to have them take the module at their on their time. It's available 24/7, and they can print out the certificate and prove that, yes, I did pass, check it out. And organizations are able to also, if you have a class of students, if you log in as an organization, have them log organization, you give them an identifying number, we're able to help you get a report so you can see what they took and how well they did. We don't retain any names, but you would be able to get an idea of how many people passed the workshop and how well they did if you decided to go with the online. And this is just how it looks. There's a information booth where people can print out hard copies of additional information. There's a dictionary. You can stop and go. If you have to log out, you can pick up where you left off. And this is a copy of what the game looks like. Our P3 is our audio version. It is currently being updated. It will cover the same 4 categories, but they may be arranged just a little bit different. But this is for the consumer on the go. Again, they can download it to any MP3 player. They can download it through the website, or they're able to order a CD or just listen to it on the computer. So this is for little snippets of information. We'll have Train the Trainer DVDs for both Money Smart Adult and Young Adult. It's available in English and Spanish. You can get the DVD or watch it online. These are for people who are used to teaching but just want some tips on maybe conducting financial education workshops using the Money Smart. Again, this is free, not copyrighted. We also have a webinar that the FDIC hosts. Last year we piloted monthly, so this year we're trying it once a quarter. The schedule is on the website. And we also offer some in-person train-the-trainer workshops. These are free. We require that you have at least 20 to 25 attendees. You can partner with other organizations to host one. We have to make sure we have available staff. But again, this would be free for your organization. And with the webinar, if you miss the quarterly one, we are able to conduct some specifically for organizations. Okay, as you can see, there's a wealth of ways of offering the curriculum. So you just want to consider your audience and their needs, whether you do it individually and one-on-one. There are group methods, as you can see. And then how do you get the word out? Is it be on TV? Are you going to use email? So think about how are you going to get them there, and then what format you're going to use to teach them. Our role in collaborating with other organizations is to make sure that you have the resources necessary. So we offer the curriculum, technical assistance. Sometimes we can build relationships with other organizations that you're able to collaborate with. We offer, again, the free Train the Trainer, and in those practitioners are actually able to have hands-on teaching in the classroom. And then we also the FDIC conducts research and publishes best practices around financial education and economic inclusion. So, again, some of the reasons we would like for you to consider choosing Money Smart. It's available in a variety of formats. It's free. It's easy to teach. We currently 9 languages, Braille and large print. You can get trainer. So if I now turn it back over to Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Boy, lots of good information on Money Smart, the different curriculums, and the many different ways that you can access it and utilize it. We wanted to let you know, as many of you are working in American Job Center, that back in 2001, there was a deal on partnering with FDIC to provide Money Smart, and I think it said really beautifully here. They advised people by choosing to offer the Money Smart curriculum. Local stops can develop lasting partnerships with a broad array of financial institutions and become the central community location for all citizens to visit to become financially literate or to brush up on specific topics. So there's support from the Department of Labor, and there's a multitude of ways that you can think about providing this great service within your center. We're going to now take a few minutes to we're going to skip these financial success stories because we'll talk about them at the end. But let's look at some steps to implementing Money Smart. I identified 8 steps to offer you a practical outline for implementing Money Smart within your center or your community-based organization. And step 1 would be to explore Money Smart. Step 2, to identify partners. Step 3, to determine program design. Step 4, to train the trainers. Step 5, to tackle logistics. Step 6, to market Money Smart classes. 7, to measure outcomes. And Step 8, to utilize feedback. We're going to go through each of these steps, and then, as we mentioned earlier, you're going to hear from 2 folks out in the field who will share experience with incorporating financial education and financial coaching within the one-stops that they work in. Step 1, explore Money Smart, which you just had a great opportunity to do, but also gave you here the website link, FDIC.gov/consumers/consumer/moneysmart/index Opps.html. One of the things you want to do when you're explaining SMART, and you may choose to also explore some of the other financial education curriculums we at the top of our, but you want to look at the level of financial education you're seeking to offer. So do you find that you have customers who need some basic information, that they're banked or underbanked? Are they advising you that they're having credit issues, that they are some of the victims of the financial crisis and they need kind of support, so that you can get an idea of what kind of financial education might be good to offer? You want to make sure it's available in the formats you're seeking. You understand why that's important after the next few steps. You want to think about the level of support you're seeking, so that what the FDIC offers, will that meet your center's needs? You want to think about partners. We're going to talk about briefly two types of partners, internal partners and external partners. So internal partners are folks within the Workforce Center who have a vested mission in financial literacy or offering varied training opportunities. May include some of your TANF program staff. They can count Money Smart education toward work activity requirements. You may want to look at some of your youth program staff, because Money Smart curriculum meets the youth program mandate to improve educational and skill competencies. And those would both be two great populations within your American Job Center who could greatly benefit from you incorporating Money Smart more deeply into the Job Center. Now, we firmly believe that every customer will benefit from financial education. And really, most of the staff will benefit greatly from the financial education that you're providing. But these two internal partners that could be real advocates for you and allies in this step forward. You all want to think about, as you're approaching these internal partners, they may not have had the chance to participate in a webinar such as this, and may not really yet be familiar with the benefit of financial education or merit in relation to helping people become employed. So I want to encourage you not to be disappointed if you get a no, but look at that as a real teachable moment to share some of what you've learned about the interconnectedness of financial education and employment, and to have them share some stories of people who may have lost their jobs because financial crisis caused them a situation in which for them to leave their job or to lose their job. And that teachable moment can be really helpful in garnering the kind of support you're looking for. I also want to look at external partners. Our organizations who are currently providing financial education services, are those organizations housed within the center with you? So you want to think about, could those organizations be a partner in providing financial education within the One Stop or within the American Job Center? Or if not, is it possible that they accept referrals and that this is an opportunity for you to start referring individuals out of the Workforce Center as you're trying to think about what kind of program do you want to build here? Think about, in step 3, determining your program design. There are multiple ways that you can implement Money Smart, and we're going to think about 3 today. First is you can partner with another organization. I just mentioned you could look at, are there folks who are providing Money Smart, and this is a good opportunity to refer people. So as the center are being the link, linking people to an opportunity that already resides within the community. Or you decide to provide access to Money Smart within the center, and you could do that one of 2 ways. You could provide access to self-guided Money Smart. You could upload Money Smart to designated computers within your center and advise people that they can use those computers to take this free financial education course. You could implement Money Smart as part of your workshop series. So as part of the training that you provide within the One Stop Center, you could train staff members and have them provide workshops. And if you chose that one, we're going to continue with the steps, the rest of the steps, integration that you're thinking of implementing Money Smart workshops within your center. So if you chose to do that, we would go to 4, which is train the trainers. As Bobby mentioned, there's a few ways that trainers can be trained that utilize the train guide. So you may have some that are great trainers that have some knowledge and just need additional support. Use video training, or you could use webinar training, or you could set up an in-person workshop. And we've provided you the link to schedule that. And, of course, you're also going to have, you also through this webinar have contact information for FDIC. And if you forget any of those pieces but you do remember my name, you're also always welcome to email me, and I will connect you to FDIC's trainers so that you can set up a Train the Trainer in your community. As mentioned, Train the Trainers are free, and you're going to be able to provide that to folks. Video training, there's all of the online videos for Money Smart for adults and for young adults, and it's a great way to assist people in understanding the Train the Trainer guide and to get some tips and effective training strategies. Training, it's going to include training, information on training, delivery, coaching, assessing, and giving and receiving feedback. For folks that are not usually trainers, this can be really helpful. Recently at the Disability Employment Initiative national meeting, and one of the folks mentioned, as a workforce professional, I haven't always been a trainer, and so it might be something that's new to folks, and these different Train the Trainers can be very helpful. Our training also includes presentations, demonstrations, exercises. They're regularly held, and they're 3-hour online trainings. And you may want to consider the in-person Train the Trainer workshop. I myself am a Money Smart trainer, and I've attended this workshop and can tell it was a really wonderful experience. I helped to bring in other organizations in my local community to participate in the training, and actually we ended up overwhelming the trainer with folks from disability organizations, but they handled it beautifully. It gave us a lot of great information. All of the different pieces we needed to go back and train individuals were made available to us, and it was a great chance for people to test their training skills on each other and get input from the FDIC trainer. So it's really the optimal choice to build a team of trainers who are going to implement Money Smart in your workforce center. Step 5, you want to tackle the logistics. You want to think about what would a class schedule for offering Money Smart look like? What would be the best times to offer based on the hours of the center, and considering different issues like transportation, child care, and when people are typically at work. You want to think about the location. Of course, if you're holding it at the workforce center and you have multiple centers, you want to think about one that's more easily accessible to the majority of individuals. And want to think about class size. And we would say a good class size is 10 to 15 people. So when folks first start out offering financial education, they get worried that individuals that are not joining right away, and they get discouraged that they have smaller class sizes. But smaller class size can just mean greater opportunity to really gauge what individuals are interested in, what seems to be ringing true with the folks that you're working with, and getting some good feedback from them. You want registration. Are you going to have somebody at the center who registers individuals, and you do it just as you do any of your other workshops, which would be the best opportunity? Either utilizing other community partners to bring people to the center for this particular workshop. You could also look at some free online registration tools like Eventbrite. And then when you think about becoming more open to other populations that may not typically come to your center currently, you want to think about some special requests that they may have for accommodations, who's going to fill those requests, and do you have a trainer who's new to serving people with more obvious or more pronounced or significant disabilities. Money Smart does have a supplement, a resource guide to supporting learners with special needs that could prove to be very helpful to them. Step 6, you think about how to market your Money Smart classes. You make sure you're telling customers about this service again and again and again. You know, when folks walk into your center looking for employment, financial education may not be the first thing that rings, oh, I need to participate in that. So you want to think about not only telling them repeatedly, but also what you're telling them. So I'll give you two examples here. You want to choose your language carefully. Put up a poster that says, pay all your bills, attend Me Smart to learn budgeting and money management techniques. Might not be as welcoming to folks as something like, pay all your bills, attend Money Smart to learn which ones to pay first. So if you think about what a person really needs to know in the limited amount of time they may have to give, that can help you with your marketing. You also may want to use some of the FDIC materials that they created, and those are always available to you and can be a great starter as you're starting to take this on. You want to reach out to partner organizations to help spread the word. And you have a lot of mandated partners, but you want to look even outside that to some of the other organizations fighting other anti-poverty efforts. And we talked a bit on last webinar, which is archived on our website, about who the other partners are when you're looking at building individual financial capability. But if you ever are concerned and not really sure where to start, I hope you will feel free to send me an email. Nakia is going to put my email again in the chat box. It's ejennings@ai-inc.org. In 7, you want to measure outcomes. Ask folks to complete a pre- and post-assessment of their financial literacy and financial stress. So the experience that an individual has in your class could make a big difference in how much they spread the word. And as many of you know, word of mouth can be the most powerful tool you have when you're working with folks that are challenged by their finances. You also want to request feedback on the different class logistics, the time, the location, the materials, how they heard about it. These will all help you as you seek to continue to build your program. And as I seek suggestions for improving the classes, sometimes critical feedback is hard to hear, but it can be some of the most beneficial feedback to making the program what you want it to be and to serving those that you're really seeking to serve. You want to make sure that you utilize that feedback. So you do have an open mind in what folks are telling you, in how they're perceiving what they're being taught and how the different classroom settings are working for them. And try to keep an open mind to use both the positive and the critical feedback and to make adjustments as you see necessary as you're able. So steps 1 through 8, and we realize that that's some practical application, but there's nothing better than hearing from folks that are engaged in providing financial education and other financial capability supports to folks within different job centers. So I'd like to take the time to introduce you to Arcelio Aponte. He's Director of Operations and Management for the City of Newark, Department of Economic and Housing Development, and he's a board member of the Newark Workforce Investment Board. And he's on the line today to share with you how they are starting to implement not only financial education, but a step beyond that, financial coaching when their Newark One stops. And we're so pleased to have him today. Thank you so much, Mr. Aponte, for joining us.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and I'm certainly pleased to be joining you today, so I'd like to thank you and the Lead Center for the opportunity. As mentioned, and as the previous speakers mentioned, economic self-sufficiency is important to the stability of our clients, and so we've been looking at ways to expand the services that we offer under the workforce system. And just for everyone's information, the workforce system under the workforce system lies under the Economic Development Department. Early on under Mayor Booker administration, placed workforce development as a key component of the economic development strategy. And so we've been engaged in not only providing job placement services, core and intensive services to our clients, looking at other ways to better serve our clients and to help in their ability to sustain not only themselves but their families. And so in an effort to look at financial services, we submitted a grant to Capital One in partnership with the Financial Clinic out of New York City. And the focus of the grant is to deliver one-on-one financial coaching services around the financial goals of asset building, banking, credit, debt, taxes, and other forms of financial education. And so the effort is really to provide one-on-one financial coaching, and our goal is to provide financial coaching to 150 of our clients. We are also providing financial literacy materials to over 500 of our clients out of our one-stop center. And so we have engaged in this process of creating the infrastructure to deliver these services. And the first step for us was to inform our own staff about the benefits of financial education and financial coaching. And so our own staff met with the financial coach to assess their own sort of place in the one-stop center and how they could provide services to the clients and what they should communicate to clients. And so our own staff participate in financial coaching, and for the most part, they found it extremely beneficial. We're going to launch this new initiative starting next week. So for us, it's an opportunity to, again, expand the services of our one-stop center and to really encourage our clients to not only look to the one-stop center for employment services, but also see the one-stop center as a partner in their own financial self-sufficiency. We need to be able to provide the service. Again, we think that's important for the one-stop centers to think about the total person, not just them coming to the center for employment services, but to really think of the one-stop center as a partner to their success. We, again, look to start the services as of next week, April 1st, and the grant is available to us for a year. And, again, we hope to provide direct services to 150 of our clients. We are also going to provide some financial literacy to the youth of our city. We have a number of programs that we offer to youth, including a summer youth program. So as a component of our summer youth program, our financial coach will be meeting with the participants of our program to provide them with information on banking and, again, other forms of financial services. We have a college program that we offer as well that we're going to be hosting class in August, where our financial coach will be meeting with the participants of that program. So we are extremely encouraged by this program. We are looking forward to implementing this and, again, build an infrastructure that will allow us to sustain the program in the coming year and to be able to provide our clients with a higher level of services out of a one-stop center. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much. For those of you on the line, I had a chance to meet also and some other folks from the city of Newark in Miami, the Cities for Financial Empowerment Funds meeting that the Lead Center participated in, and part of a collective of cities that have taken on financial capability as one of their mandates as I mentioned, to really support an individual holistically. And the Cities for Financial Empowerment will be working with us over the next year to develop a strategic plan for supporting American Job Centers in implementing these kinds of strategies within their own American Job Centers. So stay tuned for more from Newark and from the other cities for financial empowerment. Thank you so much, Arcelia.
You're welcome.
So next we're going to hear from Jonathan Wheat, who is the Managing Director of Special Projects with the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce, Disability Works, and Managing Director of Statewide Resource Coordinators for the Illinois Disability Employment Initiative. We're so pleased to have you, Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Elizabeth, and I'm with Disability Works at the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the DRC supervisor here in Illinois. Just to give you a bit of background, we are a Round 1 grantee, and the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity is the grantee for Illinois who contracts with Disability Works to implement the DEA. 4 DRCs were all navigators since 2003 here in Illinois under DCEO, and needless to say, they have a lot of experience in providing resources at the American Job Centers. Pilot sites are in northern Cook County, which is the north side of the Chicago metro area, also in Peoria and surrounding counties, with our control sites being in the city of Chicago and in Rockford, Illinois. We recently implemented a pretty unique asset development strategy, and it's unique that it not only serves WIA and ticket customers with disabilities, but all WIA clients as well. We implemented this strategy by first developing an asset development questionnaire that all clients can fill out during their application or orientation sessions. You can see it gives the customer an opportunity to list the monetary services that they're receiving, and then it also gives them a chance to fill out a questionnaire to indicate what services they think they might need. It has a series of comprehensive questions of yes and no questions regarding asset development. For example, it asks if they need assistance with setting up a budget, or with credit repair, or if they need assistance with rent or utilities, along with about 25 other questions. DRCs have also implemented a follow-up tool called a resource guide, and we've come to refer to it as the cheat sheet. For each question in which the customer indicates that they need assistance, a list of resources is provided along with the detailed eligibility criteria for each of the resources. For example, if the customer indicates that they need help figuring out how much they can work and still keep their benefits, the customer can be referred to the DRC. We all have completed the benefits training through Cornell to become certified benefits practitioners. It needs help with daycare, opening a bank account, going back to school, or even home ownership. We provided resources and keep those resources up to date for all of the staff to use. It was difficult to come up with these lists of resources because, like I said, the DRCs have been navigators since 2003, before the DEI, and had many of these resources at hand. Now, how are these tools utilized? We've been able to incorporate these questionnaires into the WIA and ticket orientation processes so that all new customers complete a questionnaire. Here's the important part. Only customers with disabilities, but all WIA customers complete the questionnaire and are provided the resources. Now, one thing to note that I think is pretty cool is that this on here that on the questionnaire it says, please note that additional services may be available for people with disabilities. It's our hope that this statement will encourage disclosure or at least begin a dialogue. The DRCs in northern Cook County have taken the questionnaire and the resources and developed each one into a referral sheet that can be handed to the customer so that they can leave with something in their hands and with details on each services that they require. What we hope to do in the near future is to make these resource guides available to all the staff at job centers. We've all experienced encountering a customer that comes in and says that they're about to be evicted or had their utilities cut off. Now, any staff member, from the front desk to the resource room, will point them in the right direction, and I'm sure they will all appreciate that. Now for a success story. Our C in Peoria, Mary Peterson, was with a ticket client receiving SSDI, was mother of 2, and had a sporadic work history. During take, Mary helped the client complete the asset development questionnaire, and the client indicated that she was unable to open a checking account due to past fines on her record. Mary got the client connected with a local service provider that specializes in financial education. The client completed a financial literacy class that had been marketed to ticket customers, was to apply for an earned income tax credit and also for financial assistance, which helped her pay the fine and subsequently open a checking and a savings account. Also obtained assistance with utilities. As she's paid off the fine, she's become more job ready and actually wants to work full-time and move off of SSDI. It came about because of checking yes to one of the questions on our questionnaire. So as you can see, this questionnaire has the potential to open up dialogue with the customer, and it's often the most important thing that we can do to assist them. Bottom line, comprehensive asset development takes a lot of time. Paying off a debt, finding a job, starting a PASS program, getting off of SSDI, becoming financially savvy, buying a car, buying a house. It doesn't happen overnight or even during the course of the 3-year DI program. But tools we can easily help all WIA customers and their case managers to get it in the right direction. And more than that, we can leave these tools and procedures in place after the DEI has been completed. Thank you.
Thank you much, Jonathan. Those are great tools, and we so appreciate your willingness to share them with all the folks that are on the line today. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. So if you haven't taken the time to submit your questions into the Q&A box, now would be a great time to do so. You have signs lined up, and we're going to take a few minutes to answer those. One person asked, is there a post-test for the adult versions of the Money Smart program? And I'm going to turn to Bobby again for the answer to that question.
Yes. There are pre- and post-tests in the Money Smart for adults, young adults, and the small business instructor-led. They all have the same format.
Another question for you, Bobby. What do you mean by a version for the visually impaired? Do you mean audio descriptions?
I have currently the instructor-led Money Smart for adults. There is a Braille and large print version. The computer-based instruction is FIDE compliant, and so there is text available, usually or audio. But there is a audio talks you through the curriculum, the modules, the online version.
Another specific disability population, the question came in, with the hearing impaired, are there more visual aids in the average module, or are all the modules the same pictorial messages?
Currently, they are all the same. We have been looking at, in the future, perhaps create another, whether it be a standalone or just another Money Smart that would get the hear client. So whether it's the American Sign Language or videos, we will be looking into that in the near future. But currently, the curriculum is, it's the same.
Great. We have more question that I'm going to answer, and that was one individual asked, do any of the websites we listed for financial education have links to financial institutions that offer IDAs, which are individual development accounts? If you're online and you're interested in individual development accounts in your local community, your first step is to go to www.idaresources.org, which I will put that into the chat box. That's a link for IDA programs funded through Assets for Independence. And Assets for Independence funds the IDA. The money put in the account, the match money, and the interest do not count against any federally funded public benefits. So they're a great first step. As you think about IDAs, cultivating money for special populations, anything that you would like to know, what have others in the field done before me that I can learn from, I will reach out to us. Some other great partners on the line today, like Alaska Disability Employment Initiative, who has done some wonderful things, providing financial education and our asset development tools within American Job Centers, and some folks around the country who have spoken on some of our other webinars, and we're happy to link you with those folks and ask them if they're willing to share some of their resources with you. So feel free to reach out to us at the Lead Center at National Disability Institute, and we'll do our best to connect you with folks who have some resources to share with you. We want to advise you that this is just one in our free webinar series from the Lead Center. There will be a new webinar provided to you on the last Wednesday of the month, every month, from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Our webinars are done in 3 mini-series. This is the first one on economic advancement. This one will be on employment, and we'll start in May. And then our final series on leadership will start in July. Start in August. I hope you'll join us for our next webinar on April 24th from 3 p.m. to 4:30 Eastern. It will be using work incentives to build financial stability. This webinar will offer you an overview of Social Security's 2 disability benefit programs, opportunities to increase income through the use of SSDI work incentives, opportunities to increase income through the use of SI work incentives, and which work incentives support savings above the $2,000 SSI asset limit. We are inviting all of you to participate on the webinar and hope you will extend the invitation out to individuals with disabilities that you serve and other stakeholders. The webinar in particular will provide an opportunity for individuals with disabilities to gain additional knowledge about their own benefits and how they can utilize what they learn about their benefits to help them to think about how they can use those benefits to build financial stability. Thank you from the Lead Center, and welcome you to reach out to me at any point in time if you have any additional questions or you're looking for additional resources. Thank you to our partners at the Office of Disability Employment Policy, and thank you to each of our guest speakers for your wonderful knowledge and your willingness to share it with all of us today. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we hope you'll join us again next month.